أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من شر الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين، واللعنة الدائمة الأبدية على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى قيام يوم الدين. Assalamu alaikum, my beloved sons and daughters, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, we are going to start with the first manasik al-Hajj, and that is the staying in Arafat. However, before we go Arafat, we need to enter the state of Ihram. And where is the state of Ihram going to be done? Entering the state of Ihram inside Makkah, from in Makkah, for those people who are performing Hajj al-Tamattu', which is connected to Umrah al-Tamattu'. They are going to enter the state of Ihram from inside Makkah. It is mustahab inside Masjid al-Haram. So that's number one point to discuss today. And the other point is staying in Arafat is to stay. One is the optional stay. Optional, when I say optional, that means the normal stay. Because when we say optional stay, people they say, "Oh, is it optional to stay in Arafat?" No, it's one of the pillars of Hajj. Stay in Arafat and stay in Muzdalifah. These are pillars. Without that, there's no Hajj. So, if intentionally missed, and if unintentionally both stays are missed, it's your Hajj goodbye. So therefore, we have we have a stay, which is normal stay, which is like normal timing. And then if you miss the normal stay for any reason, like circumstances, unintentionally, then you can do the secondary stay. So we can say primary stay, secondary stay, normal stay, or stay. If the original stay was missed out of necessity. So let's try to stick to a terminology throughout the stay of Arafat and Muzdalifah, that we are able to understand throughout the remaining lessons. Whenever we speak about the stay in Arafat, there is going to be primary stay, secondary stay. So primary stay is the one which is from the Dhuhr, time of Dhuhr, till Maghrib, sunset, on the day of 9th Hajj. If somebody misses that stay due to certain circumstances, then some part of that stay at night after the sunset. So let's say he arrived in Arafat after the sunset, so that is some part of that stay, not the entire stay in Arafat. So that is something which is very important for us to understand, that let's say if I miss the primary, don't worry, you can catch up with the secondary stay. The same thing is for Muzdalifah. The Muzdalifah, you have primary stay, evening of like eve of 10th of Dhul Hajj, and then you have the secondary stay, which is the next day after sunrise, because primary stay ends before sunrise. So if you miss the primary stay, you missed any part of the stay in Muzdalifah, then you can catch up at the night time, eve of 10th al-Hajj, then you can catch up on the 10th day of the Hajj. And in the school of Ahl al-Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam, Muzdalifah, we will see from the rulings, Muzdalifah, if you miss Arafat and Muzdalifah, we have a problem. However, if you miss if you get Arafat and you miss Muzdalifah, then we don't have any serious issue here. So because you can catch Muzdalifah. So here is the thing. Arafat, Muzdalifah missed, Hajj is problematic. If you miss Arafat, if you don't miss Arafat, but you miss Muzdalifah, then you have a problem. But if you miss Arafat and not miss Muzdalifah, your Hajj these are all in extreme circumstances we are mentioning, then your Hajj is okay. So therefore, when we hear the many people, they say Al-Hajj Arafah, Al-Hajj Arafah, that means you have to stay in Arafat on the, otherwise your Hajj will be invalid. Somehow in the school of Ahlul Bayt, it seems that Muzdalifah holds more importance, that if you miss Muzdalifah and you get Arafat, there's a problem. But if you these are general things, then we are going to see what say the Sistani Damadullah his opinion is about this thing. But in general, we need to understand that there's primary stay, there's secondary stay for Arafat. There's primary stay and there's secondary stay of in Muzdalifah. So at least someone misses those primary stays, at least he needs to get something of Muzdalifah at least, so that his Hajj becomes okay. So let's start with the Ihram. And Ihram, we did all the ahkam of Ihram, we did the invalidators of Ihram. However, here we are going to discuss only specific case about the Hajj Ihram, and the method is same, the intention is different, and the place of entering the state of Ihram, the miqat is different. The miqat is the Makkah itself, and it's mustahab to be in Masjid al-Haram. So he says that the first rituals um, of Hajj, manasik al-Hajj, the first rituals, wajibat of Hajj, obligations of Hajj, is entering the state of Ihram. The best time is, so there's a best and there is the must. So the best time is Yawm al-Tarwiyah, and al-Zawal, 8th Dhul Hajj, the time of noon. So 8th Zawal, Yawm al-Tarwiyah is 8th Dhul Hajj. Yawm al-Arafah is 9th Dhul Hajj. So 24 hours before, okay, next on the day of Arafat, the time of the obligation of stay begins at the noon dhuhr time of the 9th Dhul Hajj. So therefore, 8th Dhul Hajj, in the time of dhuhr, this the people, they start leaving Makkah. That's recommendation, Yom Tarwiyah, at the noon time. But if you don't leave on the 8th, excuse me, until the next day arrives, you have to leave as early as possible, in a way that with this with the large number of traffic or heavy traffic, you are able to arrive before the time of noon on the day of Arafat. Before the time of noon on the day of Arafat, because that is, if you miss that time, then you have a problem. So the ihram needs to be done when? Mustahab to do it on the 8th Dhul Hajj. And the last thing is that time frame which allows you to be in Arafat at noon, or at least before noon time. For the elderly, it is permissible to go earlier. Maybe elderly, they take some time, they need resting. You see, like nowadays in traveling, the elderly, they have restroom problems. They have to go like every half an hour, every 15 minutes. So the car has to stop at a gas station or a resting point where the where the people can relieve themselves. So the elderly people, the sick ones, they are allowed to leave earlier if there was a fear of crowd, and this crowd may prevent them from arriving on time on the day of Arafat. So they enter the state of Ihram and they exit before the people exit. Like if people are exiting Yom Tarwiyah, and one more thing to note, nowadays in the cars and buses, it takes too much time. Like if you leave Arafat on the noon of the, I mean, if you morning of the day of 9th Dhul Hajj, I mean, we tried it. It took so long time, 3 hours just sitting in the, and then it's a daytime. So no more roof. You have to sit on the bus or in the truck or something like that. And it takes too much time. So, elderly people, because of the crowd and because of the traffic and rush, they might need to use the restroom and they're stuck. Like sometimes the cars, they move like inch by inch, centi by centi, like literally slowly they move. So that can create a problem for these elderly people and sick ones. So that is why it is permissible for them to leave earlier if they fear the crowd that may deprive them. The crowd, if they fear the crowd, so they can enter the state of ihram and exit before other leave Makkah before other people leave. So that is number one, the time of leaving Makkah. Who else can leave Makkah earlier? Um, these are the ones who, due to the necessity, the age, sickness, they can leave Makkah earlier. Okay. Now, what about the tawaf of Hajj and tawaf or sa'i of Hajj and tawaf al-nisa? The sandwich we said, tawaf, sa'i, tawaf. It needs to be done after sacrificing the goat in Mina and exiting the state of Ihram. What if a woman encounters period, monthly period? For her, not just that, there are two conditions. After they come back from Mina, she encounters monthly period. Now, and she is from those whose monthly period is like 5 or 6 days minimum. And the caravan will not wait. They will leave to Medina or they will leave back home. Only little bit time she has there, not enough for her to relieve herself, that she's relieved from her period, monthly period, and does the ghusl and all those. For her, for her, it is permissible to perform the tawaf and the salat of tawaf of Hajj and the sa'i of Hajj and the tawaf al-nisa of Hajj and salat tawaf of nisa of Hajj before leaving Makkah. Others no, but this lady, she is allowed to do this. So that's an exceptional case. So we have two things in this. First, the time of leaving Makkah. It is mustahab to leave on the 8th Dhul Hajj at the time of Dhuhr. And the max is before the time of Dhuhr on the day of Arafat, 9th Dhul Hajj. They have to leave in a time that they can arrive there, the time of Arafat, at the time of wuquf, niyat, intention. And for the women who may encounter period after coming back from Mina to perform the A'mal of Hajj, A'mal of Makkah, and she may fear the encounters of the monthly period, she's allowed to do even her tawaf and rituals of Makkah in the before leaving to Arafat. It is also permissible to leave Makkah uh, for any other circumstances at any time uh, before what? Before the day of Tarwiyah, before Eid al-Hajj. For who? Let's say you have to leave Makkah. You did Umrat al-Tamattu. Now here there's a difference between fuqaha. So you try to look what does your marja say. Okay? Because some maraja, they say once you do Umrat al-Tamattu, you're not allowed to leave Makkah unless if it is a case of necessity. without the case of necessity, you should not leave Makkah. For Sayyidi Sistani Damadullah says, if there's anything to do out of Makkah, like for example, preparation or preparation of the tents, preparation, because you know that they give you the tent allocation. You have to go there. You have to prepare the place, prepare for Hajjaj to come. So those people who are caravan leaders, they have to leave ahead of time. He says that previously we have mentioned that those people who have some circumstances, they can leave Makkah. But when you leave Makkah, you leave in the state of Ihram. You leave in the state of Ihram. محرما بالحج لحاجة بعد الفراغ من عمرة التمتع. Let's say this is the normal case. It used to happen before. People, their bag did not arrive. And they're looking for the bag. They're looking for the bag. This guy arrived in 6th Dhul Hajj. And due to the heavy traffic and heavy uh, rush in the airport, and hundreds of thousands are coming in Makkah, Jeddah airport, Medina airport, they can't find the bag. Like nowadays, they know the bag in 1 or 2 hours, where is it located and where it got stuck and why it was not boarded on the plane. So what happens here, that they called him on 7th Dhul Hajj. We found your bag, come to and he was done with Umrah al-Tamattu. Now it's hassle for him to come back to Makkah after Jeddah. So can he just enter the state of Ihram and go to Jeddah and get his bags and stay in the state of Ihram on the 8th Dhul Hajj or before that for any reason? Medical checkup. He got problem. He had to go and do surgery and it was in Jeddah. So can he leave Makkah? Like minor surgery, whatever. But he will have to stay under observation after the surgery or whatever. I'm giving you just example to understand that can you leave Makkah after completing Umrah al-Tamattu for certain need or necessity? Yes, you can. So he says, we have previously mentioned that it is permissible to leave Makkah after entering the state of Ihram for any need or necessity after completing the Umrah of Tamattu. Anytime, 1st Dhul Hajj, 2nd Dhul Hajj, 3rd, anytime you can leave Makkah after entering the state of Ihram. That means in Jeddah, whatever time you are going to stay, you will be in the state of Ihram all that time. If there was a need and necessity, obviously, but no one would like to stay like 8 days or 6 days or 7 days or even like more than 2-3 days in the state of Ihram until it was a need and necessity, unless it was a guy with the Tarzan phenomenon and likes to just be free and just wear a loin cloth and move around and here and there. But other than that, like normal state of people, they don't like to be in the state of Ihram without any shorts or something like that, and just a loin cloth and move around here and there, and expecting the cloth to fall anytime, and whoopsie daisy might happen, something like that. Anyhow, so it is permissible. Okay, ويجوز التقديم في غير ما ذكر أيضا ب3 أيام بل بأكثر على الأعظم. He says that we have permissibly to exit Makkah, and we have entering the state of Ihram ahead of the Yawm al-Tarwiyah. So now to understand this, wajib time is 9th in a time frame which allows you to arrive in Arafat, putting all the crowd issues in calculation. That's number one. I remember one year The time of Dhuhr came and we just entered. We left like early in the morning, 9 o'clock, 9 a.m. We said, let's just go in Arafat, just close to that time. We left 9 a.m. and the Dhuhr was about 12:30. We just arrived in the border of, not in our tents, in the border of Arafat. Alhamdulillah, in the time of noon. So I had to make let them make the intention in the bus of staying in Arafat until it took us like 1 hour plus to arrive to our tents inside Arafat, like I said, inch by inch. So it's not good to take any chances of those edge, like tight times. Okay, so for Hajj, one can exit. So on the day of, let's summarize this. So people who are Yom al-Tarwiyah is mustahab, Eid al-Hajj. Elderly and sick ones can leave before. Fear of the crowd, but they enter. All these cases, they have to enter the state of Ihram. The cases where you can go before the Yom al-Tarwiyah, it is the case of necessity or entering the state of Ihram. In the case of necessity and entering the state of Ihram, like elderly and sick ones, it's a necessity problem. They are afraid. And then another case is for any case of necessity or need. So we have elderly and sick ones. We have anyone who has problem and necessity, has to go to Jeddah, go anywhere, go to Arafat to fix the things of Hajj. This is number two. So number one, elderly and sick ones. Number two, any need and necessity. At any time they can leave. And it is permissible to leave. This is what the scholars, they said. It is permissible to leave without need and necessity, without being elderly, without being sick ones, 3 days before that time. This is what the scholar said. Sayyidi Sistani Damadullah says, rather one can leave before more than 3 days. Okay. But in the state of Ihram, the whole thing is you can't leave Makkah without, and then from there you can go direct to Arafat because you already left Makkah. So you can go direct to Arafat. So he says it is permissible to leave Makkah other than the things we mentioned for 3 days before. Rather, more than that as well, more into it, بل أكثر بأكثر, rather he can leave more than 3 days, most apparently, like we said, most apparently, al-adhhar. That means there's dalil, there's a zahir, and there's adhhar. So most apparently, Sayyidi Sistani says to him, one can leave earlier. Okay. Ruling number 358. So there's no limit with Sayyidi Sistani, Damadullah. That is what he needs to explain here. One can leave before 3 days. Some ulamas, they say before 3 days, okay, they can leave. بثلاثة أيام, 3 days before. He says more than 3 days. One can leave before more than 3 days, but entering the state of Ihram, after entering the state of Ihram. Let's see, ruling number 358. As it is not permissible for a person who have performed Umrah al-Tamattu to enter the ihram of Hajj al-Tamattu before taqsir, before clipping of his hair or nail, or say the Sistani hair, beard and mustache and head, the hair, you can't do shaving, we said, it is taqsir. It is not, similarly, it is not permissible for a person who is going to perform Hajj. So as it is not permissible for a person who has done Umrah al-Tamattu to enter the state of Ihram before getting out of the previous Ihram by doing Taqsir, it is also not permissible for a person who's in the Ihram of Hajj to perform Umrah Mufrada before exiting the Ihram of Hajj. He wants to do, he came back from Mina, or he's in Mina, he did the pelting of the stone, and he's still in the state of Ihram, for example. He sacrificed. He's still in the state of Ihram. He needs to shave or do taqsir based on his responsibility or her responsibility. And then you have tawaf al-nisa and all those other things. So before exiting the state of Ihram, before exiting the state of Ihram, yeah, Ihram of Hajj, one cannot enter the state of Ihram of Umrah Mufrada because you are in a state of Ihram. You cannot put Ihram over Ihram. No. One state of Ihram done, you exit, you can enter next state of Ihram, and so on. However, so yeah, so Sayyidi Sistani Dhammadullah says that, however, he can perform Umrah Mufrada if he shaved his head or did the taqsir. That these people, they can do the Umrah. So because Tawaf and Nisa, you have an ample time to do. So he says, however, if he had exited the state of Ihram partially, okay, and there was nothing left on him except Tawaf and Nisa. So he did Tawaf of Hajj, he did Salat of Tawaf of Hajj, he did the Sa'i between Safa and Marwa. And the only thing which was left is Tawaf al-Nisa. It would be permissible for him to perform Umrah Mufrada, even though it's recommended precaution to avoid it. Ruling number 359, whoever is not able to stay in Arafat, remember the primary stay? So whoever is not able to reach to Arafat or stay in Arafat, the primary state. Let's say he did surgery or he became sick. And so the doctor said you can't leave until the recovery is done. So he has now the situation where he can't leave Makkah. So there's no problem. If someone is not able to reach Arafat, the stay in, or have the stay of Arafat, or stay in, arrive or reach Arafat for the stay in the primary time, the entire primary time from noon till sunset. So can he just delay entering the state of Ihram since he's not going to be able to arrive at that time? Can he just enter the state of Ihram before that? So he says no. He needs to enter the state of Ihram in a way that he does not miss the primary stay as well. I mean the secondary stay as well. So he says whoever is not able to reach Arafat due to the, I mean, reach this, whoever is not able to arrive in Arafat for the primary stay from the entire primary stay from noon till sunset, it is not permissible for him to enter the state of Ihram um, at a time that he would miss the the secondary stay as well. So he needs to enter the state of Ihram in a way he could perform the secondary stay if he's not able to perform the primary stay. Okay, so comparing the Ihram of Umrah al-Tamattu or Ihram of Umrah and Ihram of Hajj. Is there any difference, Sayyidina? This is ruling number 360. The Ihram of Hajj and Ihram of Umrah of Tamattu, they are similar. In what, Sayyidina? In the methodology, how to enter the state of Ihram. In the obligations, what to say, the intention, and labbaik Allahumma labbaik, and its prohibitions, those 25 things which are prohibited after entering the state of Ihram. So he says the difference between these two are only the difference between these two or both, the difference between both is the intention only. Ruling number 361. So now, Sayyidina, from where one should enter the state of Ihram? One should enter the state of Ihram from Makkah, as mentioned previously in the chapter of Miqat. And the best place to enter the state of Ihram is Masjid al-Haram, the holy mosque of Makkah. And it is recommended to perform it after 2 rakat behind Maqam Ibrahim or inside Hajar Ismail. So it is mustahab to perform 2 rakat behind Maqam Ibrahim or inside Hajar Ismail, the conclave or the arch of Nabi Ismail alayhi salam. Ruling in 362, whoever forgot to enter the state of Ihram or out of unawareness of the ruling until he exits Makkah, later he remembered or became aware about the ruling, because forgot, he remembered. Unaware became aware. He must go back to Makkah, even if it was from the Arafat, and enter the state of Ihram from there. If he is not able to go back due to the narrowness of time or any excuse, any other excuse, then he should enter the state of Ihram from the location he is in. Anywhere, if it's in Arafat or before Arafat, before entering the Arafat, whatever. If you cannot go back to Makkah, then just enter the state of Ihram from wherever you are. Okay. What if this person remembers after staying in Arafat? Like he was in the intoxication of spirituality or hyperbolic irfani state or whatever state he was in. And he forgot all the dunya, including intention, which is part of akhirat. But that's why these extreme people, they're really out of their senses when they claim to be irfani and try to present themselves like they're irfani people and this and that. I mean, the irfani people who would never say that he's irfani and or show himself or make a show off or make a show of irfanism. Anyhow, so Similarly, if that person remembers, okay, or becomes aware about the ruling after the stay of Arafat, okay, so he's now, but still he needs his ihram for Muzdalifa, for Mina, okay? Still he needs the ihram because there are so many other things coming. So Arafat missed without ihram, out of forgetfulness or unawareness. So he says that here that similarly, if he remembers or becomes aware about the ruling after the stay of Arafat, that means after Maghrib, here also he say, can you go back to Makkah and enter the state of Ihram from there? If he says yes, then he has to go back. If he says no, then enter the state of Ihram from wherever you are. If he does not remember or does not become aware of the ruling until he completes the Hajj, his Hajj will be correct. His Hajj will be correct. So this is the difference between obligations that are non-essential pillars and obligations that are pillars, non-pillars and pillars. So ihram, if unawareness, forget, though that's the base of all manasik of Hajj or Umrah. So, but he forgot or he was unaware about the hukum. He wore the dress. He did like sometimes they say monkey see, monkey do. He saw people are wearing ihram. He wore the dress of ihram without making the intention, I am entering the state of ihram for Hajj tamattu, Hajj Islam wujuban qurbat Allah ta'ala, labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika lak labbaik. He did not enter the state of ihram. He did not say these two things. It's wajib to enter the state of ihram. However, it's not pillar. If it was pillar, it would have been told him, kiss your Hajj goodbye. Because pillar, if you miss out of unawareness or forgetfulness, most of the cases, that's pillar. That's what makes the Hajj. Tawaf. Somebody forgets the tawaf. Baba, the whole Makkah, Medina. Haven't you ever heard nowadays? Even non-Muslims they talk about Makkah in YouTube and everywhere. So it is unlikely that somebody doesn't know that there's Makkah, there's Kaaba, and there needs to do tawaf. So, so there are pillars, arkan of Hajj, and there are obligations, like in Salah. You have 5 pillars and 11 obligations, which are inclusive to these pillars. Niyyah, intention, pillar. Takbir al-Ihram, pillar. The qiyam, the standing before the ruku', pillar. The ruku' itself, pillar. 2 sajdas together are pillar. Other than that, in the salat, it's wajibat. If you unintentionally make mistakes, error, forget, it's okay. But if you miss a ruku' inside salah, then kiss your salah goodbye. So that's the difference between pillars and obligations. So entering the state of ihram is obligation. However, it is not a pillar. So that's why if someone realizes after he was done, okay, after Manasik al-Hajj, after he was done with Tawaf al-Nisa, and here his hyperbolic Irfani state went away, and he came back to this world and said, oh my goodness, I was supposed to enter the state of Ihram in Makkah. The shock and awe, Irfani shock and awe made me forget about it. So that's why don't worry about it. Your Hajj is okay. So this is something which is very important that people need to enter the state of Ihram. People need to go Arafat, Muzdalifah, Tawaf of Hajj and Sa'i. So yes, if he's able to go back to Army. If he does not remember or becomes aware about the ruling until he completes his Hajj will be correct. Ruling number 363. Whoever abandons the ihram ihram of Hajj knowingly and deliberately. عالما عامدا. You know that you have to become ihram and you deliberately don't do it. عامدا. Until the primary time is gone to stay in Arafat. So this person did intentionally, deliberately. So his Hajj will become invalid. Hajj will become invalid. However, if he arrives ولو تداركه قبل أن يفوته الوقوف الركني لم يفسد وإن كان آثما. However, uh, so we said the stay of Arafat is from noon till sunset. That is the obligation. However, the pillar is to stay some portion of it. So if he did not perform, if he did not enter the state of Ihram knowingly, deliberately, until the optional time, until he missed the optional time, the primary stay, which is from Dhuhr till noon. So his Hajj will become invalid. However, if he corrects his error and fixes his mistake before missing out the pillar, the rukun stay, the essential stay, then his Hajj will be valid. However, he would be considered a sinner for missing out the wajib. So there's a wajib stay and there's rukun. So rukun is a portion of it and not the entire. So if he misses half an hour, 1 hour after the dhuhr intentionally, he would be a sinner for not performing his obligation. But still he can fix his Hajj by fixing this ihram, and his Hajj will be correct. However, he will not be considered a sinner. On the basis of obligatory precaution, one should not, the person who's performing Umrat al-Tamattu should not perform a tawaf after entering the state of Ihram. Okay, the tawaf is like tawaf mustahab because he came to Masjid al-Haram to enter the state of Ihram. So normally what people they do one tawaf, okay, and 2 rakat tawaf, and then enter the state of Ihram. This guy did opposite. He came to Masjid al-Haram, he said, he made the intention and said, Labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika laka labbaik. And the caravan is still like, they say, we have like half an hour. Half an hour, I can perform a tawaf. So he goes and performs the tawaf. So here, say this is now says obligatory precaution, not to perform the tawaf of the as it is obligatory precaution upon it is precautionary obligation upon a person who has done the Umrah al-Tamattu. So it is obligatory precaution upon a person not to do, a person who has performed the Umrah al-Tamattu, not to do a tawaf after entering the state of Ihram of Hajj. That means recommended tawaf, because he cannot enter the state of Ihram if he still not completed Umrah al-Tamattu. So if someone completes Umrah al-Tamattu, now he wants to enter the Ihram of Hajj. He, on the basis of obligatory precaution, he should not perform a tawaf after entering the state of Ihram of Hajj al-Tamattu. Like before exiting for the Arafat, before leaving for Arafat. a recommended tawaf, obviously. As we said, he's done with his obligatory, and he cannot bring the obligatory tawafs of Hajj and Umrah before leaving Mecca. And that, for that woman, we said she can do it after entering the state of Ihram of Hajj, because that would be part of Hajj, the woman in a period, the woman who fears to be in period. So someone, I'll rephrase it in English properly. If someone has completed his Umrah al-Tamattu', he should not perform the recommended tawaf after entering the state of Ihram of Hajj, and before leaving. So he entered the state of Ihram of Hajj and before leaving for Arafat. In between that time, he should not perform recommended tawaf on the basis of obligatory precaution. However, if he does the tawaf and then he needs to renew the لبيك اللهم لبيك تلبية بعد الطواف على الأحوط الأولى. So it's recommended precaution, if he does that, to repeat the talbiyah before after the tawaf. After he was done with tawaf, he needs to do the talbiyah as a recommended precaution. Talbiyah for what? For ihram of Hajj. لبيك اللهم لبيك. Yeah, I think this is enough for today. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.